And we're back. It's another episode of Nathaniel's Sunday Sit Down, brought to you by Lissum Athletics, where the meaning of thin, supple, and graceful meets the eye in athletic apparel. Head over to lissumathletics.com and use a promo code CKTCS for 10% off at checkout. So that's CKTCS as in college kids talking college sports for 10% off at checkout. On this week's episode, I caught up with BC men's basketball forward James Karnik while he was in quarantine. And we just talked all things basketball, what the transition has been like for him going from playing mid-major basketball in the Patriot League at Lehigh University to playing ACC basketball at Boston College, along with much, much more. It's a long one. It's an hour. We talked for even longer, but you only get to hear an hour. I recommend that you listen to the whole thing. Enjoy. All right, I am now joined by Boston College basketball player James Karnik. He's coming to us straight from quarantine after spending 8 days of contact tracing in quarantine. He gets out for 23 hours, and they put him right back into quarantine after what James thinks is a false positive. You holding up all right?
What's that? Yeah, I'm feeling amazing.
All right, that's the important part. So you tested positive. You're feeling good. But you're pretty convinced it's a false positive.
I want the retest.
and they won't retest you.
They won't retest me, so I had to do my 10 days.
So that sucks. So when did you go into quarantine? You got out for 23 hours.
We had a player on our team test positive January 19th. So from that, it was like right off of an away game too. So from that, went straight into quarantine from the 19th to the 26th. And then like the night of the 27th, I got sent back into quarantine. So.
And you get out, what did you say, February 8th?
February 7th.
February 7th. Dude, that's so much time. Just like, have you like decided to like write a book or anything? That's a lot of time to be by yourself.
No, man. So luckily the second time I stole the ball really quick. So I'm able to do like some ball handling. I took some bands with me and stuff like that. So I'm able to do like workouts with like the with the elastic bands.
Do you feel like you're going insane? Like, have you left your room at all? Have you just been stuck in that room?
Luckily there's like a common space that I go to. I'm not sure. We have to keep that on low. I'm not sure if I'm going to the common space. There's nobody in the common space because there's just me and one other person in this kind of area. So that's where I do my ball handling and stuff like that in the common space. But I'm not sure if I'm allowed to go in that. So we'll keep that. I don't go there. That's what we'll say.
All right. He doesn't go in the common room. He stays in his room.
Yeah.
Like a good student athlete, listens to all the rules, just stays there and just doing his time.
Yeah, doing my time. That's
gotta suck, bro. That is definitely one way to. You didn't tell me until we got on here, so that's wild. It's something else that is kind of weird. We talked about this before we came on. Why does ESPN think you're?
So my grandma's
place that has it.
I'm going to give you some like just needless background. My grandma's from England.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with it.
Okay.
But she informed me that there's a Surrey in England. And so I'm from Surrey, British Columbia, Canada. I'm assuming when they saw Surrey, they're like, oh, let's look up where Surrey is. And the first result they got was Surrey, England, because I'm pretty sure there's probably more people in Surrey, England than there is in Surrey, British Columbia, Canada. So I guess they didn't want to ask me or anything. So like, oh, yeah, he's from England. Yeah, he's foreign. So England, Canada, same thing. That's probably what they were thinking. So
do we think it just like got cut off after the British part so that they look up like Surrey British and they're like,
British, yeah, okay, yeah.
She's from England. Dude, you get that like because everywhere else, like your Lehigh page had you as British Columbia, obviously. Your BC page had you as British Columbia. Am I the first person to think that you're from England? Like, or is that
no? So that's funny. So about 3 weeks ago, my buddy was looking me up, but he was just talking about me to his friends, and he was showing my ESPN page to them, and they're like, "No way, you know this guy? This guy's from England." And he's like, wait, what? And then he looked it up and he saw it was England. He's like, yo, you got to message ESPN. They have you down wrong. And I was like, yeah, like I've actually seen it myself too. And I was just like, I just didn't bother to tell anybody, you know, I mean, sure, I'll be from England. It'd be a nice talking conversation point. So, yeah. But I'm assuming It's the Surrey, England. That's why they got
Okay.
it.
I've had Wikipedia do me wrong. I've been in the middle of an interview before. It was with actually Derek Kellogg, I believe, the coach at LIU,
Okay.
and we were talking, and I do my homework, so I looked him up on Wikipedia, and someone put his middle name on there as Wolfgang, which like isn't true whatsoever. And so like,
Man.
yeah, so I'm like, hey, so like in the middle of the interview, I'm like, yeah, like, so how did your parents decide on like Wolfgang? And he's like, your middle name. He's like, the hell are you talking about? I'm like, Wikipedia says that your middle name is Wolfgang. And he's like, yeah, that's just like not true. I'm like, last time I trusted Wikipedia ever. Last time. All my teachers told me to never trust Wikipedia for papers. I always did.
So what I've learned is Wikipedia is flawless when it's like something really like talked about. So if you look up the American Revolution, okay, you're good. But if it's something like smaller,
it's a free for all. It's an absolute free for all.
Especially you can't trust Wikipedia for heights because like I know like some celebrities and stuff. They'll be like, "Oh, I'm 6'2" or whatever," and Wikipedia here's, "Oh yeah, he just said in the interview he's 6'2." You measure that guy, he's like 5'11", 5'10". Like, you can't trust it for heights.
It's like college athletes that hover around like 5'10", and then the school will be like, hey, like fill in your height, and it's like I'm 6'1". It's like, nah, the hell you're not.
Actually, it was really funny. I was watching a college basketball game actually in Canada, and they were doing the tip, and in the announcements, both of them said 6'9", and one guy was significantly taller than the other guy. I'm like, what's up with this? Like, how they're supposed to be 6'9", but one guy, I know 1 inch could vary so much, right? Like,
yeah, for sure. So my first question was going to be, you're a world traveler because you're from England over to west coast of Canada and British Columbia, over to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. You're in Boston right now. We can take out the England part. We figured that out. But you're still going west coast to east coast.
Yeah, yeah.
What has that kind of been like moving around? You did you did prep school in Toronto, right?
Toronto, and then I did prep school at Adaptability Prep in San Diego as well.
So you have literally been just spend a semester in Mexico, and then you've hit like everything in North America. Like at this point, there's nowhere else for you to go.
Actually, yeah, in North America, no, yeah. So,
what's that been like, just traveling around everywhere? And have you felt like it's been easier for you to adapt to new situations due to how much you traveled?
For sure, and I would say like each location, I pick up like one person I'm really close with.
Yep.
And, like when you're away from home, you're definitely able to like create like some strong bonds. So the first toughest one by far was going to San Diego when I was 15. And like ever since then, I haven't really been home consistently. And since quarantine back in last March, like that was the longest period I've ever been home.
Yeah.
Like March to, when did I come back here? Like August 28th, I went to Boston. So that was the longest time I ever got to go home since I was 15.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's been very, like, you just learn about so many people's lives, like whether people go to, I would say one of my coaches said I am personality chameleon. I'm not sure if I would say he said it was a compliment. I'm not sure if I would say it's a compliment, but pretty much what he was trying to say. This is how you almost marketed myself to my like coaches through my recruiting process when I was becoming like a college athlete.
Yep.
He used that as like a selling point, because he says you can put him in with a room of like any different people and he'll find a way to kind of like what's the word, like be included, conversation. I mean, be like,
absolutely inclusive. You're just that guy that can adapt to different situations because you've been in so many different situations that it's just normal for you.
I feel it's definitely like I feel like I have a way of kind of like being able to connect with people from like different backgrounds. I've had teammates with like, like came from like the poorer places of like Oakland and stuff like that, and then there's some places that are like more privileged people in some of these prep teams because some people pay their way to be on there, right? And I can connect with those guys. So like it's like you're just able to connect with people, learn about them. It's been a good experience.
It's a great skill to have, to be able to work with different people from all different backgrounds, because that's something that sports teaches you. And the more
No, for
The
sure.
different people you interact with, you take that on after sports when your career is over and you get into the working world, you get in the real world. And, that's a skill that not a lot of people have, because if you don't play sports and you're not hanging out with different people all the time, you keep the same group of friends that's, the same socioeconomic class that you are, same town, like you're not diversifying.
I see that a lot in college. I see that a lot in college. Like I'm in the business school, and so I'll see it a lot where there's people that you can tell that they haven't really been able to connect with a lot of people. So they might be like into like a really posh way of speaking, right?
Yeah.
And they'll do like a business thing and they'll like, really talk, but like you can tell that they're not really connecting with the audience, right? Like a bunch of kids their age, right? Like I don't think a lot of people would be talking like all posh and proper, you know what I mean? So like you can tell that there's not really that connection when they're doing like their marketing or like whatever, like slides and stuff. So it's really interesting to just see like how some people are able to kind of connect with the room because they've had that where they connected with a bunch of different people, and there's some people they might not have that really social skills. They might be great at like all the marketing tests and stuff, but when it comes to like presentations, they don't really have that connection, which I think it's something like when you hire somebody, you're going to hire somebody that you can actually connect with, right? Like he could be a smart person, but if you tell him like, hey, like do this, or like, like let's talk about this, right? And they don't really not able to connect with them and have like a conversation, good dialogue with her, it's kind of hard to like be productive in that sense.
Yeah, no doubt. Absolutely. It's communication's key, and being able to communicate with different people is an underrated skill in this day and age, without a doubt. You talked about your time in San Diego. You played with someone who's had a pretty damn good career so far, early career in the NBA, but he also had a damn good college career. DeAndre Ayton. What was that like?
It was interesting. My bad notification. He was definitely at a process in his career when I played with him where he was kind of more finding himself. He was 7 feet, but like this guy would just lay it up right at the rim, and I'm just like, come on, man! Like you're 7 feet, you're athletic, you can go dunk that. So it was definitely a time where he was kind of more finding his game, where he could just be explosive and dominant. Unfortunately, he got injured. It was actually kind of kept on the low. I don't think it was really kind of talked about. Our coaches did a good job of like kind of sweeping it on the rug. But he got injured, so I only played with him for about a month, and then he had like a kneecap injury that put him out for the season. But yeah, that was a crazy program. Like the coach there, man, would just run us. Like it was a really big turning point for my career, because I would say after going through that, especially at 15 years old, family dog died. Being away from home, like it was definitely a really big growing experience for me.
Yeah.
Especially I was with like a host family that like.
That's a young age too. Like
focus more on
a different country,
like I had to,
training at a high level at age 15.
And I had to like make myself food and stuff like that. Like, at home, my mom would cook dinners for me, make me lunches and stuff like that. Like, I know it wasn't like that here. Like, I had to kind of fend for myself. So it was definitely a big, and just being killed in practices. Like we're talking, like I remember I got hit in the face. I got a nosebleed, and because I stopped to like go like this after I got like clotheslined in the face, my coach got angry at me because I didn't finish the play. So I had to literally run suicides with a bloody nose, and like the court got so bloody that they had to close down the gym after we were done practice because there was just blood everywhere. I was just like, okay, like. I'm not saying a lot of coaches in basketball will do that, but like after I came to that, I was like, a coach could send anything my way and I'll be able to, you want to run me to like, people are throwing up. I've been in that situation so many times. So like, like whatever you throw something at me, like it's not going to be you. So like, that was a really big confidence thing for me. Like I was just like, what, like I'm confident that like I could go through like an absolute crazy coach and I'll be able to deal with it. So yeah, it was
having that ability to play for anyone is huge. And did you find that you figured out if you loved the game pretty quickly when you played for someone like that?
So yeah, that was a tough thing, because I'm not gonna lie, like when I was in that situation, I thought basketball wasn't for me. You know what I mean? Like, I thought, like if this is what it takes, it like, like it was also like a big, like I know it's like gave me confidence to play for coaches, but also ruined my confidence of playing. Like, like you make a mistake, like you get on, right? So it took me a while kind of gain more confidence in myself. And luckily, when I changed programs after that, I played for a coach, just kind of let me do my thing. Yeah. And being able to do my thing, that helped crazy. But like at that time, I was like, basketball's not for me. Like, like this isn't going to work out for me. Like you probably won't get a scholarship if you're doing everything wrong. Even though like I was one of the better players at that program, like I was starting and stuff. Every time I did something wrong, like he let me know, right?
It felt like the world was just crashing down around you.
Yeah. But then what I found out is once I came back home and I started playing basketball again, I had so much fun. I realized, it's not basketball. It's who I'm playing for. You know what I mean? Like if I were to pick up a ball at a rec center and play with my friends, that's probably the most fun I can have possible. Like if you want to say, like you have one day to live, what's something you want to do? That's one of the things I'd have on my list, just pick up a ball, play with my friends. Like I love it in that sense. So I definitely think like a message, when I go home, I talk to people who are struggling and stuff. I would definitely say like, if you'll know if you love basketball, it's not a question of if basketball is for you, it's just finding the right place to play. Because, there'll be kids who want to make the step up, and whether they're ready or not, it's up to the coaches that get that opportunity to play. So when they get that step up, they're like, oh man, I'm not good enough. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. I'm not good enough to be playing basketball. That's not the case, man. Like guarantee if you got put in a different program where you did get that minutes playing at the same level, you could be excelling, right? It's also how the program operates. If you're a big man and you usually are a guard that's going to step back and just huck up everything, you're not going to look that good because you're not getting the ball at all, right? You could be playing out there for 40 minutes. And I've been in cases where you get 2 shots a game, like, you miss one, you get 2 points right there, right? Like, when it's on you to get offensive rebounds and score, like, I've been on programs where, like, the only half of my points came off of offensive rebounds, right? So, like, it's definitely finding, like, a situation, like, that's that. And like you said for your question, like, did you find out you loved? Yeah, I found out I loved it. Just I found out that I need to be in the right situation to love the game.
I think that's a great piece of recruiting advice because, unless you're the guy or, you're your star recruit, like you're a 3-star, 4-star, 5-star recruit, kids aren't looking for, they're not always looking for the perfect situation for them. They're just looking for a situation where somebody wants them instead of like going out to see what they want and finding what they want in a school and in a program. They just want the love where, we've been taught as athletes growing up that, the recruiting process, somebody's going to come give you an offer and this is how it's going to work. Not you go out and you find the program and the system that fits your game best, whether it's basketball, football, because you got 4 years to play, that's it. Unless you have medical or you sit out your freshman year or something like that, you only have 4 years. So you might as well go somewhere where it fits you. You're going to play, you're going to have a good experience because you only got 4 years. It's not that long.
For sure.
So, was that a big part of it for you after the experience you had down in San Diego, going to prep school? Did that carry into your college recruiting process and your eventual landing at Lehigh?
Sure. Yeah. So big. Like I started Lehigh all 3 years I was there. That was big thing. Like I wanted to be in a place where I would play. Right. Like I wasn't. I know what it's like having like a coach that like kind of plays games with you. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it was a big point. And then also had a great education. So that was very good on my parents' side. Like they loved that. It's great education and there's a place for me to play right away. So I was just like,
for all my Lehigh people that are going to be listening to this, great school. Just like, there you go. There's a little pin for Lehigh academics. There you go. All right, continue.
Very academic school, man. Like,
yeah.
Like when they say like student first, athlete second, like I don't think there's any other school that will literally say it that way. It's like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's some programs where it's just like, you know what I mean? Like, no, get in the gym and then after you get your workout, you can study for the test. I'm like, no. You don't touch a ball until you study. Like,
yeah.
So, definitely, yeah.
Did you look anywhere else? What were the other options coming out of high school except for Lehigh?
Shoot, I have them on my phone, but I can probably list a couple.
It doesn't have to be all of them, just like top 3.
Yeah, I had Montana State, Pepperdine, Jacksonville, Maine.
Hey, that's where I'm from.
You from Maine?
You made a good decision not going to UMaine. It's so cold up there, dude. It's so cold.
Yeah, I had like another team in my league too. Like Colgate was looking at me. Mm-hmm. Could have got a ring if I went there. They won my sophomore year.
Yep.
What else? Yeah, that's it for what I can remember.
The mid majors were.
Yeah, I didn't really have any like high major looks. I went. It's a funny story. I almost kind of kicking my butt like that. I didn't try to find a prep school West Coast because I went to a training camp with Washington.
Yep.
And Lorenzo Amar was there, and he like was like that was like 15, 16 at the time. It's like, man, this guy's a big, like, you know what I mean, like you know how to play down there, like stuff like that. I was scoring on their at time their players that were playing for them. So, you know, like it was definitely a good showing for me. But I think because I went West, I'm not even sure if he was working at the time. Like I don't really kind of keep up to like who's coaching and like college basketball too much. But yeah, he really liked my game, so I had kind of hope that, you know, maybe I would go there. It's close to home too. So
yeah, for sure. How tall were you at age 16?
16. I was about pushing 6'7", like maybe just like 6'6" and 3/4.
Damn,
but I was strong, you know what I mean? Like my dad.
So you weren't like a skinny 6'7"?
No, I've never been skinny. Until I was like
that's
12.
lucky. That's lucky.
I know, like it comes from my dad's just bulky dude. Like he's like what he's like 56 now and still has a 6-pack. Like he's crazy in shape. He actually my dad he got invited to go to the Olympics for judo. Unfortunately got injured, and so judo there's two big competitions. There's the Olympics you can win at, and there's the World Championships. The World Championships have every year.
Yep.
I think he got like 5th in the World Championships, but he beat the dude that ended up winning the World Championships. He unfortunately separated his shoulder in the World Championships, so wasn't able to continue. So I think he took 5th, but in the tournament he beat the world champion. So I like to call like he's like the world champion if he would have not got injured. That's what I like to say.
Yeah. So actually, funny story that you mentioned judo and the World Olympics. I've never heard somebody else talk about judo. A kid from my high school who graduated, I believe, a year before I got there, was actually a world champion in judo from Maine. He played tight end at UConn, but yeah, I believe he was a world champion in like judo or something like that, and he like almost went to the Olympics. So like, you're the only person I've ever heard like mention that. Like that's like the crazy one person that I've ever met who's done judo.
I did judo since 13 or 14 years old. So yeah, I was actually like really good, like first place trophies all over my house, me and my brother. But yeah, my dad started getting really busy with work, so he kind of stopped taking us to judo, and then you know I got into basketball. I started playing football, volleyball. Only played football for 1 year, but like I started getting into like other sports.
Please tell me you're good at volleyball.
Oh yeah. I got like some offers to play volleyball at in Canada, not US. So, like some good Canadian schools. So yeah.
Is volleyball fun? Like I play beach volleyball.
I enjoy
like that looks sick, but like
nothing like it gets like dunk is way better. Don't get me wrong, but like you get a lot more spikes than you get dunks in volleyball, and it's pretty fun.
So you had a pretty damn good career at Lehigh. You spent 3 years there. What made you transfer and take your final year of eligibility?
I got more the COVID.
Oh, you have another year. Oh, you got 2 years.
All athletes.
So
football and basketball have another year of eligibility.
So this year didn't count for NCAA, or it did?
No. So like freshmen will have 5 years to play.
Okay, perfect. I knew the football one. I just wasn't sure about basketball.
Yeah, same thing happened for basketball. I mean, luckily, because look, I'm probably only going to play like 9 games, 10 games this year. Like, come on, that's not a season. Like,
fuck COVID. COVID screwed you.
Like, I'm in it right now. Like, come on, man. But
what made you transfer and make that jump after this? You know, the success that you had at Lehigh, saying, I want to go somewhere else. There was
a couple factors. The biggest factor was I thought it was going to be my last year, and I wanted something big. I wanted to play on that big stage, you know. I really wanted to get the college experience, you know, like when you're told college basketball, you're kind of envision something, you know, where you're playing in front of big crowds, you know what I mean? Like you're in this, right? I had some opportunities to do that at Lehigh, but it wasn't kind of consistent. Like the Patriot League, until it gets playoffs, it's not really that.
It's very much an Ivy League situation.
Yeah. So that was one of the factors. I just wanted to kind of experience college, but I'm never gonna be able to do this again, man. So like I was like, okay, like let's enjoy it. Let's get what people were talking about. Another factor was I was looking at my pro career, and I just kind of saw like what some of I thought, in my opinion, were some talented players to come out of Lehigh, and kind of some of the contracts they were getting.
Yep.
And it's kind of harder to market yourself because when you say Lehigh, you go, oh, you played Division II for a couple of years. I was like, no. Like, no, I would not. Lehigh's not Division II; it's Division I, because it's not really talked about school. So I knew for contract.
CJ's not doing enough for you guys in the NBA like right now.
Right? Like,
come on,
he's got to mention It's got to be like his like second word. Hi, I'm from Lehigh. Like, so
him and Dame are the same way. Like it's always their name and then where they went, and that's like the second words out of their mouth always.
So yeah, unfortunately. I just felt like it wouldn't do good enough for a contract. So I thought, maybe go for a bigger platform and just try to, find a contract that way. So,
are you looking to play kind of overseas, or do you, what's the goal for you?
Well, I think any
NBA.
Any basketball Division I player will tell you lie if not NBA. But I know it's been my whole life. I've always had to grind for things, so I know it's not going to be a direct path for me. Like, it's kind of clear. So I know it's something I'm going to have to grind and work for if I'm even able to get an opportunity to do that. But yeah, NBA obviously. I have my European passport, so playing overseas is looking really nice for me because they have like a limit where they have to take a certain amount of like local players, and because I have a European passport, I can.
You count as local.
Yeah, it counts local, and
all right,
and that's cheaper for like housing and stuff like that. So the money that they could have spent on housing, they can put in my contract. So
that's so. Nice. All right, so you putting that business degree to work. I see. You making smart decisions.
Serious.
Okay. What was that like? You went through the recruiting process, obviously the first time, and before your freshman year, when you reopened, you hit the transfer portal. What was it like the second time?
Oh man, I felt like that was an amazing feeling. It was nonstop phone calls for about a week. And we're talking, they would start at 8 a.m. and go till 7 p.m. nonstop. Like, my parents couldn't have a conversation with me. Like, I'd be talking to them. I'm like, oh, I just got off the phone with oh, sorry, I got to take this, right?
Yeah.
And it was awesome. Like, I had some
name drops from people.
Yeah, I had some schools I wanted to go to. So it'd be awesome. Like, when I saw number from Oregon's calling, I'm like, come on. And it'd be like, hey, yeah, this is so-and-so from Oregon. I was like, awesome, right? You know what I mean? But yeah, I had some good schools that are looking at, like Arizona State. I was really considering Boston College. I had some, it was a little bit, the problem with my recruiting process is I had some really high-level schools contact me, but some of them wanted me now and some of them wanted me next year, right? Like, Providence was really, really interested in me. Mm-hmm. But one of the things was, like, we want to develop you into our program, so we don't want you for this year. We want you for next year because we have a big man right now. We work with you in that. So, So there was schools like that.
It's tough going from starting for 3 years to having to sit out and develop for that extra
and so it's kind of tough. And then there's the rule was being talked about, where I could play right away. So some schools were hitting me up to play right away, right? And I have a list on my phone. There was so many high major schools that I was kind of talking to, but it became like a decision, like where I thought I would play the most.
Mm-hmm.
And, Boston College didn't have a really winning record.
Yes.
So it looked like that would be the option, right? Like, you know what I mean? They're not winning, so obviously they need to change things.
Yeah.
Haven't been playing that much, so I'm not sure what was up with that. Still a losing team, so it's been tough for just kind of having to find a rhythm.
Tough year with COVID to be able to put.
I definitely feel like we have some talented guys. I definitely feel like we need to kind of work up with our lineup, if I'm being honest with you.
Yep.
To kind of because we should have won so many games. Like, there's game against Duke, clearly we should have won and stuff like that. So I definitely feel like some lineup changes need to be made. That's just the nicest way I'm going to put it. Because we definitely have some options, and I don't feel like they're really being utilized. But I mean, yeah, like at the end of the day, one of the reasons why I wanted to go to Boston College was trying to expand my game, and that's definitely an opportunity given me. Like I didn't hit a single three, and I didn't really get that many attempts at Lehigh. I've already hit like 5 threes on the season. So it's definitely been good for me to kind of expand my game, you know, being able to work off the dribble, which was kind of like one thing, because I knew obviously NBA is my biggest goal. I could probably go to Europe right now and be a dominant post player. You know what I mean? Like they don't really have that many big and just like athletic, like bully guys in Europe. It's more like finesse. So I knew I could definitely do that, but I knew in the NBA where they just have some monsters, how am I going to take on something like that? Well, I'm pretty fast. Like I'm one of the fastest guys on my team at 6'9", 250. That's pretty impressive. That's you know what I mean? So I definitely knew if I wanted to be successful, which I can see in myself, I got to expand my game and be able to show and prove I can do anything. So why not prove that at the ACC level? And Boston College kind of gave me the opportunity. So
yeah, I want to talk about the transition from Patriot League to ACC play. First, though, did you ever get a call from Coach Cal? Because I'm a big Kentucky fan, and your name was thrown around a lot because obviously, you know, you get people that follow these big time programs, and transfer portal season opens up, and they always just go berserk for the mid-major guys that have hit the transfer portal. And your name actually came up a lot. So I wanted to ask you, did you ever get that call from Coach Cal in Kentucky or no?
Fortunately, I did not know.
Okay.
I didn't. I think they followed me on Twitter though. So I was like, oh, sweet. Yeah, maybe. But I don't think it was hard, man. Like I definitely missed some calls, but I'm just going to say no.
Okay. No, but, I was just curious because I saw
like a lot of schools were following me on Twitter. And usually schools that followed me on Twitter hit me up at some point. Yeah. I knew one of their assistant coaches followed me on Twitter. So I was like, okay, maybe. But no, I don't think I never had a conversation with them. No.
I was wondering because they also had the kid from Bucknell who transferred down there.
Yeah, to be honest, that was a big like eye opener for like, yo, like I dropped 21 and 23 on him in our 2 games my sophomore year playing at Bucknell. I'm like, this guy's the starting center for Kentucky. I was like, you know what I mean? Like it might be an opportunity for me to see what I can do. So, you know, that I can say like on the record, like that was a big eye opener for me. So
I was going to ask about that because those are 2 of your best games that you've had in your collegiate career so far, where it was against a guy that, you know, was an SEC starter, you know, grad transfer. I think he was a grad transfer. I can't remember.
Yeah, he was grad transfer.
Yeah, that's crazy. So what has the transition been like for you going from, you know, Patriot League to ACC style of play? And has it been easier than you expected, or was it more difficult than you expected?
So there's some aspects that are easier, there's some that are harder, right? Some of the, I'll just go with the difficulties. You know, coming to a program where dudes have already proved themselves and already kind of gone in with the coach, it's definitely difficult to kind of work your way in there. You know, I definitely thought I was in a point talking with my teammates who are going to be truthful with you, right? They're not going to kind of play you. I thought I was at a point where I already proved myself. It's a little bit difficult to kind of, you know, show, right? Because sometimes coaches will kind of have their guys, right? They can depend on them. So yeah, I mean, it was difficult in that sense. There was, just COVID has been difficult too. You know, I mean, like we had to play. You ever played basketball with gloves on?
No.
So there's this thing where if you want to work on your handles, you put gloves on, right? And then when you the reason why is because you can't grip the ball. The reason why I say that is because they used to spray the balls to like, you know, sanitize them with like little spray, and it literally felt like playing with gloves on. I was at the point, and it's not because I wasn't working hard. I would be at the rim and I'd do it, and like the ball would just slip right out of my hands, and I'm missing wide open layups. Coming to a new program, that is not a good way.
That's not the way you want to start.
There's literally a time where, like, luckily this wasn't in like a scrimmage or anything, but where I literally went like this, and the ball slips out of my hand because it's literally like slime. Like, oh my goodness, it was so slippery. So it was definitely kind of hard to do that. But I kind of have a little secret is I kept the ball and I wiped it with a towel. They also sprayed the floor So for like the first like 40 minutes, it'd be good because the ball would be like wiped, but then it started getting kind of slimy from the floor.
Yep.
Not safe to play basketball in either. Holy, like the floor was kind of slippery too. But COVID, like they didn't know how to deal with it. Luckily, we have like a little light that kind of sanitizes the ball. Another thing was, working on all aspects of my game, you kind of lose focus on some things. So, I've been a pretty dominant post player. I obviously wanted to expand my game, but I think at some point in the season, I kind of may have lost focus on like the post aspect of it, which kind of hurt me this season a little bit. So just kind of being able to work with that. One of our grad assistant coaches too, I was working down with him on the post too, and then he got hurt, so I didn't really have anybody to work with down in the post too. So I kind of got away from that a little bit, and I definitely hurt my performance. Yep. But that being said, easier things for any person coming into the high major, I will say one thing: high major teams do not box out. Please crash the boards if you are coming into a high major game. Oh my! Okay. I think it's that a lot of these players, because they're highly recruited,
and they're only there for like a year most of the time.
They're not disciplined. You see it sometimes in the NBA where someone will get a wide open shot and they'll just kind of wait for them to take the shot. They don't even bother closing out. Yeah. As a mid-major player, I can tell you that never happens. Like mid-major players will definitely make the extra play just because.
If they don't, their ass is on the bench.
Really, there's some mid-major teams that cannot hit a three for the life of them, but how they stay in games is like, all right, if we can't hit shots, all we got to do is play defense. I've played teams like that where they're like,
well, they also know that they're not going in half the time, so like there's going to be a rebound.
Yeah. So I can say like there's just been so many opportunities where it's like that was easy, right? And it almost shocks me, like, okay, like you know what I mean? Like, yeah. So I can definitely say that. The boxing out is definitely easy. Just I mean, there's just some things that it's just different. It's like a different feel to like higher major, and sometimes it does feel pretty easy. Yeah. So
a question for you, because you kind of brought it up, and it's something that people think gets left in like high school sports, and it's the politics between a coach and a player. And for some people that they know your situation, but also like if you've been watching college basketball this season, I'm a Kentucky fan, but it's starting to become a big problem all over college basketball. Is a great example is Dante Allen, a kid from Kentucky, is a tremendous shooter. Kentucky cannot shoot. And Cal is leaving him on the bench because Brandon Boston, who is the number one recruit in that class, has to get his time. And that's been, that's something that I've seen this year with the Blue Bloods, having some problems with their starters. So having to go to other guys, that are damn good. And people don't realize because they don't normally go, they don't normally go 13 guys in a game because, in a normal year, Kentucky's using 8 guys and they're all, top 50 recruiting class. But now you have problems where these guys aren't cutting it. So you go and you see like, all right, that guy is 6th guy off the bench and he's good for 15 points tonight. Well, Brandon Boston has turned in, 10 points every night for the last month.
No, I feel you, man. I dropped 20 against Syracuse and got 19 minutes the next game, man. Like it's some tough stuff. So no, it's tough because you have like when people are getting recruited, they're told something, right? And then if they're not met with that, then the next time they're trying to recruit somebody who has ties with that person, it's over, right? They're not going to get that guy. It's like, oh, we sent so-and-so there and look what you did with him. No, not a chance we're going to do that, right?
Yeah.
So there's definitely some politics with it. And then there's also and this was one of the things I was kind of worried. There's also just your guys, I mean, if you had a person that you developed from freshman year and they have been with you all the time, they've proved that they can produce in some situations. I mean, like, sometimes there's some loyalty to that, right? And you're not, even though there's, there might be a better option. It's kind of like, okay, let's see if he's doing it. If he's not, then we can bring that second option in. You know what I mean? So, it's definitely tough. I can tell you it's definitely a big factor. The thing that I would say is, you just got to keep doing what you got to do. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Hopefully you'll get your opportunities, and hopefully, you know, if you don't get that many opportunities, then just prove your worth by being the most efficient player there, right?
Yeah.
I can say me personally, I kind of let it affect with my head a little bit, and it has hurt my performance.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason why I'm kind of saying it out loud is just so I can kind of help convince myself too. Like, you know what I mean? You just got to do what you got to do. If you don't get the time,
you can only be the best player that you are. Like, you can't
100%.
be someone new to conform to what that person or that coach like thinks. All you can do is be yourself and be the player that you are, because you started for 3 years. That's just who you are. You're not going to go ahead because you're on a new program and change the way you play. So I totally get that. And I think a lot of people need to hear that, you know, not every situation's perfect, but just because it's not perfect, don't start questioning yourself and your playing ability, because, you know, that coach or that coaching staff has something else in mind.
Great message, man. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I do this. Like, I want people to hear the different stories of college athletics, because, you know, the ones on ESPN, they only tell you the perfect situations.
Yeah. They only tell you the walk-on that gets the scholarship, and then his senior night he scores 25 or something like that. Like, you know what I mean?
They don't tell you the situation where it's not always perfect. And, you know, that's what college athletics is. You know, it's awesome. It's great. It's a lot of learning, but, you know, it's not always perfect. And I want people to know that in different sports. And you're the first basketball guy that I've interviewed, but, you know, in all different sports, it's very similar. Not every situation is perfect, and you're going to learn a lot about yourself. And just because it's not going your way or somebody doesn't like the way you play doesn't mean you're not good, doesn't mean you shouldn't be there, because obviously you're there for a reason. They wanted you at one point. So just because they're not wanting you now, I don't think that's a reflection on you, you know, as a player.
What I've kind of told myself too is, in those situations where that kind of happens, almost bump up your training to the next level. Yeah. So what I kind of was struggling with was, I was like, oh man, like, you know, I had a rough game. Let's just make sure my body feels really good so I'm able to perform this next game. So I was when I wasn't playing the best, I was taking even more of a break. Mm-hmm. And then after my second bad game, I was like, no, that's not the way to go. Like, we got to attack this. So like I said, like, it's kind of messed up the timing of all this, because I started setting my alarm at 7 a.m. every day, getting an hour and a half workout before practice, showering, eating, then practicing, and then getting another hour workout after practice, then lifting. Like, I was doing all this extra stuff, and I was like, started feeling the flow, and I was like, okay, here we come. Boom, contact trace. Like, it was so bad timing. So I was like, so it was
adversity, man. You've gotten a lot of adversity coming at you all at one time.
Sport,
COVID, all that stuff.
So yeah, what I could say, if somebody's struggling with that, my best message would be, and like I said, this is something I'm dealing with personally, is, you know, make sure you get your mental right. So do what you got to do to make sure you're believe in yourself and get your mental, and then put in that extra work. Like, just if you already put in extra work, then put even more extra work. You know what I mean? If you're already putting 3 hours, I know it sounds crazy, put 4 hours. Like, you know, it's just, and that will help you, because what helped with me is it gave me confidence that I'm working hard enough that I know I can do this. You know what I mean? Like, I'm working 3.5 hours extra on top of an hour and a half practice. Like, I know, like, I'm putting in this work, and I know, like, of my skills, right? It almost gave me confidence that, and I carried that into, like, when we started playing live and practices and stuff like that. So
it's almost like there's no way I don't belong based off of, you know, my work ethic, how I play. I've been putting the work in, and these guys aren't better than me. Like, when I play with them in practice, they're not better. I'm putting in more work than them. You know, it's the assurance to yourself that I belong here 100%.
And that's another thing I would kind of put on top of that is, if you're in that point where you're starting to second guess yourself, make sure you're the hardest worker on that team, because then you can tell yourself at the end of the day, I worked harder than everybody else on my team today. And then the next day, same thing. So you don't, like, and I know it's kind of messed up. This might not be the best measure, but you don't take any breaks. Like, you literally just say until you kind of feel in the groove again. You just, I worked the hardest on my team this day. Next day, I worked the hardest on my team this day. And then you just keep going on. And like, that really gave me some good confidence. I felt like I was about to carry on to the next game. But like I said, now I've been locked up, but I've still been working out here. Like, I took a ball. I do about an hour and a half workout every day. Like, You know what I mean? And the second I'm out of quarantine, I'm going to go right back at that grind where I'm waking up at 7 a.m., putting that extra work in, stuff like that. So
I love that message too that you had though at the end where, you know, do it for yourself to the point where you can't give up until you've put in everything that you had. You know, like you can give up at the end of the day if you know you've outworked and you've done everything that you could. Fine, give up, and you'll feel better. Like you won't have any regrets if you do that. But if you don't do that and you don't work hard and you give up, then you're going to be questioning the what if for the rest of your life.
100%. And that's the same thing. Like I'll tell anybody like where you want to go. I'm saying NBA. Like, you know, I mean, I'm going to give myself the best possibility that I believe. Obviously, you know, maybe I make a change. It might be better, worse situation for me, but I'm going to give myself the best possibility that I believe at the time to do it. So, you know, I mean, like I'm going to keep working hard and keep doing it, right? And obviously there'll be ups and downs. There'll be times where I get kind of caught, but as long as I keep bouncing back, and I can believe in myself. So yeah, great thing.
That's a great message, man. I'm really glad you brought that up. All right, a little bit of a lighter section here. We got the Fast Five coming up, but first off, I want to go with how do you like Boston so far? It's a pretty fun city. I know you've been in, you know, since COVID.
I know, man. Come on, I was so excited because, you know, playing at ACC, you know, I was getting ready for all these like crazy games. I heard Duke's so crazy. I was getting ready to fans to just crap on me. You know, I was excited for it. I love it. Some of my best games, like I played against Kansas State. I loved it, and they were just trash talking me so much. And every time it's just like, yeah, okay, they're gonna hit me for that one. They're gonna hit me for that one. I was so excited for that.
How do you like the city of Boston? Have you been able to like get out at all?
That's the thing. I've only been to the city once, and that was on an accident because one of my teammates wanted to get all you can eat sushi. Yeah. And the place that we went to the first time was closed, so we had to drive to the city. I loved it. We both had a great time in the city. The thing is everything. There's like a curfew here.
Yep.
There's so many things. Like I try to do escape rooms and stuff like that, but then you call and they're like, "Oh, we're closed," or "We only allowed a certain amount of people." And then other times teammates bail. So I haven't really done it. I'll probably save it more for the off season because there's less. There's also the worry. You know, I mean, you go out in the city and you get in the situation right now, right? So, yeah, I haven't been able to enjoy it too much, but this off season, I'm excited to check it out for sure. My brother's planning on maybe coming down and visit me too, and we'll do it together. Yeah.
So I'm from Maine, and then I go to school outside of Boston. I've been remote all year just because like the COVID situation because. I didn't really want COVID.
It's not worth it.
It wasn't really worth it. I didn't really want to pay, but like, you ever need someone to show you around Boston, bro? Let me know. I got you. I got you. I know the good places.
Sweet.
All right. So we got the Fast Five segment that I love to do. I'll ask you 5 questions, get to know James Karnik. First one, favorite food.
I think I messaged it. I might mention it. Maybe sushi. Is there fast food on this?
No.
Okay. And I have to give a little shout out to Taco Bell too. I mess with Taco Bell.
You're a Taco Bell guy. Okay.
That's a Taco Bell too.
Tell me you've had Chick-fil-A at some point.
Oh yeah. Okay. We actually for like away games after games, we'll get Chick-fil-A sometimes. Nice.
Chick-fil-A hits so different. It's
Chick-fil-A sauce after a W. Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh.
That cookie that they give us like a little box which comes with like chips and 2 sandwiches and the cookie. That cookie after a W hits differently.
Yeah, the Chick-fil-A catering box.
Oh yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. If you could travel, as I said earlier, you're a world traveler. Not from England, but you're a world traveler. Yeah. If you could travel anywhere in the world, you know, once this is over, where would you go? You have a private jet at your disposal. Where are you going?
Iceland.
I'm
just really, it looks like really cool. There's like some hot springs there. There's some like nice hiking spots, some like waterfalls. And it's a pretty exotic place. I kind of want to check out Iceland.
Yeah. I'm for that. That looks pretty sick.
You were expecting to probably like Rome or something, or maybe like Mexico.
No, I'm not going to lie. I looked at your Lehigh profile and some of these questions were already on there. And I'm seeing if any of these have changed from your freshman year.
That one changed?
No, that's the same. No, it was sushi was your favorite food, and then if you could travel the world, you said Iceland.
Oh crap, man! Yeah, sorry, it's because I still haven't been to Iceland, man. Like I want to go to Iceland, so
hey, I get it. You're a faithful guy. You wanted to. You still want to go to Iceland. I get it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. I don't believe this one was on there, but if there was a movie made about the life of James Karnik, who's going to play? What actor is going to play you? Anyone, dead or alive?
James Karnik. No, I'm playing.
I've had that answer before. I had a field hockey play on here 2 weeks ago, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm going to play myself in the movie," and I'm like, "You know what?
I would if it's real, but just for the sake of the argument, I would say like Chris Evans, because I'm not sure if you know about this, but I got called Captain America a lot. Like I said, like I look like Chris Evans a lot.
You know where Chris Evans is from, right?
Is he from Canada?
No, he's from I believe he's from Dorchester, Mass. He's right down the road.
Really?
He's a Boston boy.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, I didn't. Okay, good. I was supposed to
Captain America was Canadian, James. We got some problems.
Yeah, I was saying, well, Wolverine is supposed to be. Actually, no, Wolverine. Never mind. Pass. What did I say? So yeah, Chris Evans. So I get called. I look like him sometimes, and then so some people like started calling me a Cap or like Captain America. Yeah. Then for Halloween, and obviously as the captain of the Lehigh's team, I decided to be Captain Canada. So I had like a little K. I wanted to get like a Canadian shield, but I couldn't find it, so I did the Captain America shield. And then my mom actually made me a T-shirt that's like the Captain America Canada or the American shield, but with the maple leaf and with my number. Awesome Christmas present. So yeah, I would say Chris Evans. You know.
Okay. Yeah. All right, fair. I could see that one there. I think that would be a pretty good movie. Is it going to be a comedy? Is it going to be like what type of movie are we thinking?
Man, it's probably going to be a comedy. Yeah, my life's a joke. No joking. Yeah, it'd just be like a little bit of everything. You know, there's some drama. Yeah. There's some comedy in it. There's the fight story. You know, I don't think anybody.
There's the fight story.
Yeah, I mean, like to like get where you are, you know.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking like a legit like fish fight. And I was like, all right, like what are we talking here? Did we win?
6 years old, I got put in a underground kid boxing arena. No, but I was at I think when I first went to not until this last season, or actually this season, I was the only person from my city to be playing Division I basketball, and like it was like a couple of years since like another person from my city played Division I basketball. And just in the whole British Columbia, there's not that many Division I basketball players. Yeah. So, you know, like my dad didn't even really think I was going to be able to play Division I basketball. You know, I mean, he didn't even think like that was an option. Like when we kind of talked, it's kind of like, you know how people talk about like you going to the NBA? Like, you know, oh yeah, like that'd be cool if you go to the NBA. It's kind of like that same conversation. Like, you know, people
it's not like a legit like, oh, like that was.
Let's be honest, it's not going to happen. It'd be like, yeah, that's cool, but let's be honest, it's not going to happen, right?
Yep.
And I remember like, so I remember you asked me about off the recording. You asked me about like if I played for like the national team or the provincial team, and I said I played for the provincial team. I remember like people being like, yo, like if you play like this like all the time, like you know, you could probably play in like the ACC and stuff like that. Like that'd be great. Like you know what I mean? Like it was like a far out thing, right? And I'm playing the ACC right now, right? So
you're talking to a kid from Maine. Maine is the Canada of the United States, and everyone looks at us the exact same. It's like being a Division I athlete from Maine. Like we have a lot of great athletes here, but like due to the fact that we're from Maine, everyone's like, oh, like that would be so cool if you guys could go to Division I. Like, dude, I know like more Division I players and like the most kids do from like anywhere, but they like from the fact that like you're from the middle of nowhere, or people think you're from the middle of nowhere because you're not from like New York or Florida or like California. You're just like irrelevant. So like I totally get that.
No, for sure. And I would just say like kind of like my junior and this last year, like I started getting like some recognition for like some serious recognition. Like I don't really have anybody in my area like can kind of like say like, hey, this is James Karnik, you know what I mean? So I didn't really get that much recognition for it. So I didn't get any national team invites. So when we played the provincial team, which is every team makes a province, every
province
makes a team and they compete. We got like third or fourth, but I got first team all-star. So I was like one of 5 kids that got recognized like this is an elite talent in this year in Canada. Yeah. And I think that you want to win an MVP, RJ Barrett. Like this is the type of people we're playing with, right? Yeah. So like you know that's the first team all-star, and I didn't even get not even an invite to try out. Like, you know what I mean? Like you can go there on your own dime and you can try out, but I'm not going to do that. Like that, no one probably going to make the team if you go out there and try out. Like, you're going to be an afterthought. You know what I mean? I know how it worked for the provincial team. I got an invite to the provincial team and I only had to do one tryout. If you're a walk into the provincial team tryout, you have to go through 3 or 4 tryouts. So like it's already kind of like you get cut just to go to the majority tryout. You know what I mean? So like,
what province won?
Wait, this was crazy. Oh man, Halifax won. So they had.
I love Halifax. That's like my city.
No, it was rigged. So we lost at Halifax. We should have beat Halifax. Like I'm not just saying like this is. Yeah. We were up every time we were up like 8 or 10. They would go down foul. Then it'd be 4-point game. Then we'd go up foul. It was like not numbing, right? And it was in the championship was in Halifax, right?
Yeah. So what's the arena there? Shit.
I don't even remember it, to be honest. It was so long ago.
I was there like a year ago. That's like my favorite place.
Yeah, awesome. Yes. So we were we were like on some college campus. I'm pretty sure that's where we were playing.
Okay.
And so foul. And so it was like, come on, man. So we ended up losing that one, right? Because can only do so much. Obviously, like if we just kind of kept our 4-point lead and then just kind of kept on, but like it's a run of basketball, right? So runs are going to happen. So I just remember, man, they came down the line. They won by like 2. Ottawa. So we're talking like they had RJ Barrett and like some other like highly like top talent.
RJ Barrett
Ottawa Ontario. Sorry,
Ontario. Okay.
Ontario. So they had like RJ Barrett and some other like crazy talented kids, and like it's almost every year Ontario wins because it's like where all NBA kids and stuff come from. And so everybody's like, okay, like you know what I mean, like, and Ontario's like dominated. And I think when they played, so you do like pool play, and when outside of pool play, Ontario beat Halifax by like 25. So it's kind of like, okay, like everybody knows what's gonna happen. Same thing, man. Like, holy crap. They had this kid. I forgot what his name is. I don't even think he's playing Division I basketball. This guy shot 35 shots and shot 25 free throws.
That's absurd.
25 free throws. And he was good. He made the free throws. So good on him, right? Like, if I get 25, you know what I mean? I have to at least hit them, right? So, you know, he was good. Like he helped them win the game. But 25 free throws, man? Come on.
Sure.
I never witnessed that in my life. We're talking like he was shooting like this. Foul. I was like, he's fading away from the guy. Like did he brush his elbow? Like, you know what I mean? Like, come on. So 25, and then Halifax beat Ontario. And I was just like, whoa. I think I was like, it's crazy, man.
Canadian basketball sounds kind of lit. Like now you're saying it, like wow, it sounds like it's kind of like it sounds intense.
Provincials is fun, man. The provincials is fun. I really enjoyed the provincials. I wish that's the same thing. I didn't even get recognition to play for the provincials until like I did. What was it? I had to go to like one of their camps to get noticed. Like I wasn't getting noticed. Like it's really hard. You kind of have to play politics or just be really good to get noticed from where I am. And I didn't, like I said, like my parents didn't think I was going to be playing Division I or anything like that. Like I was just doing this for the fun of it, right? Like it was that. So like it took me a while to get noticed. And when I got noticed, I got invitation to the provincial team. I got sent out. I got a connection to go to Balboa. So I went to Balboa, and then just the second I went to Balboa, I was like, hey, like you can really do this, right? Like, so it kind of changed my mindset to not like, oh man, that'd be cool if you went Division I, to like, yo, you're probably gonna go Division I. Like,
That's awesome, man. All right, back to the Fast Five. If you could have a drink with anyone,
my bad.
story. That's why we're here. It's like stories like that. That was perfect. Love that. If you could have a drink with anyone, dead or alive, who would the person be, and what would the drink be?
Oh man, I even looked this like thought about this because you sent me this question before. This is a tough one, man. It would have to be like maybe like a comedian, maybe like Martin Luther King. I was thinking would be a good one too. Like I feel like he's probably got some great things to say.
Okay.
Will Smith, I messed with him as an actor, and he just seems like a fun guy. Uh, Kevin Hart would probably be really funny. Will Ferrell. I'd probably have to go with Will Smith. Will Smith, and then like, what would we be drinking? I'm not really like a beer guy or anything. Like I don't know what we drink. Like
Hey,
water. I don't know. I'm sorry to be boring. Like,
all right. Hydrating with Will Smith. That's the call.
Will Smith. Yeah.
All right. That's fair. All right. Last question. If you could have one superpower, what would that superpower be?
I think I gotta fly. Fly would be cool, man.
All right.
That would be cool.
You want to fly. So, like, you don't want teleportation. You don't want to, like, be able to, like, just, you want to be able to fly.
I just gotta throw that out there. Teleportation's a good one, man. Oh my goodness. Mexico, bam.
That's what a lot of people have chosen on this.
The thing is I guess I could teleport in the air and then keep falling down. But like, I just feel like flying's like a different like experience, you know what I mean? Like you get to just see like a whole perspective, you know what I mean? Just out there flying around. I feel like that'd be so much fun.
What about like planes?
Fun story in this.
My dad. Planes.
What's up?
Now you gotta worry about like planes, helicopters, and birds.
They're like whatever, like thousands of feet in the air. Like
you're only going.
I'm trying to show off. What's the point of having a superpower if you're not trying to? Like, yeah, bro, I'm flying. Like you gotta show off, right? If you got super strength, I'm constantly like curling a car or something. You know what I mean? Like
put the Canadian suit on and just start flying around Boston.
Just start, with the car. Just really. Oh yes. This whole thing now. This is his little car. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So obviously, if I'm flying, I'm gonna be flexing it, right? Maybe just a ridiculously long cape that's like 25 feet long, so I look like waving a banner. That would actually be an awesome job. You know how like planes like have the banners behind them? I'll just kind of like just be flying with like a little banner, like go check out Wendy's. But
you're gonna use story powers and advertising.
Yeah, right. No, saving people. No, I'll just go advertise people. But my dad actually paraglides. My dad's like a big adrenaline junkie. So like paragliding is like you have a little like chute behind you and you run off a mountain. It took me when I was 5. So I kind of got like a little,
like the Red Bull like paragliding, like they jump off of like mountains and just like that shit, right? That's what you're talking about?
I'm not sure if it's not skydiving. So you're not in free fall. You have like the chute already behind you.
Okay. All right. I think I know exactly.
Inflate it. So you kind of
it's not the wingsuit thing, right?
No. That's like the squirrel suit. No. I'm not like
it's crazy. I was about to say like, bro.
That's just watching that has my heart going. So like this is like paragliding is like you have it's literally like a parachute.
Yeah, it's like the big kite like over that you hold on to, right?
No, that's hang gliding.
I gotta look.
My dad does that though. I've never done that.
You go on your chart. I'll look it up.
So like it's like a little like
I got it. Okay.
So you inflate it. Yeah. So you inflate that.
Yep.
And like you inflate it, and then it's above you, and then you run off the mountain while it's inflated, and then like you kind of just sit back down, and then you're out here doing it. So I've done that when I was like 5. Oh my goodness. Last time I did it was like 2 years ago. My brother got his own like little like certification, so he does it himself. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be at that point because, man, like
you got an adrenaline junkie family.
Shoot, man, like yeah, my dad's crazy for it.
Your mom must love it. Just when
my mom's absolutely opposite. She's relaxed. Like she was like, "Oh, we're gonna have Adventurous Day. We'll watch some TV today." Yeah. I mean,
that's wild, dude. That's awesome. All right, man. Well, James, thank you so much for sitting down, man. I really appreciate it. Enjoy.
Give me something to do during this quarantine. So
if you need anything, like let me know. I'm sure we could probably find something for you to do. Good luck with your remaining couple of days. By the time this comes out, you'll probably be out. So
free man.
So catch our guy James Karnik on Beat for BC. Whenever he's on ESPN, get the ESPN app. Go watch him. Show him some love on Instagram.
ESPN, tell him I'm not from England.
Yeah, let ESPN know that he's not from England. You want to plug any social channels? Try to get any followers out of this? Let me know.
Yeah, sure. I mean, check out my Instagram if you want to keep up with my basketball. James Karnik. Yeah, that's about it.
I appreciate it, man. Good luck, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, take care.
I hope you enjoyed my interview with James. Like and subscribe below, and go follow James on his social media channels that he plugged right at the end of the podcast. A reminder that a new episode of Nathaniel Sunday Sit Down drops every Sunday at noon, so you're definitely going to want to subscribe to get notified when those drop on Sundays. Have a great week.